Hi, Jason Spengler, the SanteeSwapper, back with another unboxing. This one was a lot of fun. Kind of went down a memory road with this guy. He's an Eagle Scout from out in California. He was in Scouts back in the 1960s, and probably more than anyone I've talked to recently, we had so much back and forth of him sharing stories of his time in scouting as he was going through his memorabilia, kind of reminiscing, and we talked about just all kinds of stuff. It was fun. And he even had a lot of hesitation at the end. We sort of worked out a deal, and he was going to sell the items to me, but he had some hesitation at the end because I think he'd struck up so much nostalgia. It was kind of hard for him to let it go. So I did say that I would film an unboxing. So Barry, I wanted to make sure you got to see this because I want everyone to be able to enjoy your collection just as much as I did when I got to see the pictures and our conversation. So stick around. I'm going to open up this box and we're going to see this cool collection from the 1960s from an Eagle Scout from California. Okay, here's the box. You can see everything that Barry sent me in here, and right off the top, some of you will spot that 1964 Jamboree neckerchief, which of course Barry did attend. So let me set this over here just a little bit, and we can pull out some of the items and kind of go through and see what is here. One of the fun things about this collection was that having gone to the 64 Jamboree, there's a few things that he traded for that was obvious he didn't earn. And I'll just pull this one out, for example, one right off the top. So, again, I mentioned that he was doing his scouting in California, but in the pictures, there is this neckerchief from the Bronx in New York, Lodge 4, Renachqua. And so this one has been worn, you can kind of see, but that just tells you it's really old and someone wore it. So that's kind of a cool piece to get, from a California collection, right? And then in here, you see a 64 Jamboree neckerchief, which a lot of the collections that I end up getting are people who attended jamborees, were Eagle Scouts, maybe went to Philmont, and so certainly this collection fits into that. Got this really cute looking. Take a look at that. A beaded. I'm trying to see if there's a what's underneath there. I think that is a bone. Yeah, I think that's all bone in there, and then someone was able to bead around that and make it into a neckerchief slide. That is really pretty cool. I often say that neckerchief slides were kind of the way that scouts could um, bling out, if you use a modern word, their uniforms back in the day. That was the one thing that you could kind of decorate your uniform with. And so you do find really interesting neckerchief slides from time to time. Saw this Indian guy right off the top, and so just thought I'd grab this. This, appears to me to be a neckerchief slide as well. Look at that. You can kind of see through that. So can you imagine? I mean, I just made this joke about blinging out your slide, your neckerchief, but if you were wearing this Indian, I mean that's a pretty big bling there. If you're wearing that on your neckerchief, that is pretty cool. I honestly, I don't know that I've seen a neckerchief slide quite so big, and I do like all of that sort of Native American stuff. Having done that in scouting when I was growing up. All right, so then Region 11, he would have been Region 12, I believe, out there, but still he could have done some trading. And then Philmont here. Now this is probably where he got the Region 11 neckerchief from somebody from Idaho, because this right here, Snake River Council, this is their Jamboree contingent neckerchief, still in the bag. And that's pretty cool from Idaho. Let's see what this guy is. This is kind of a funky thing. This looks like it might be sort of a homemade thing. Yeah, I'm not sure what that is. There's buttons on it, so there might have been a patch that was attached to that because it sort of looks like it would be at the triangle. So I don't know if in this collection we'll find what went there, but that is an interesting little item as well. All right, then we got over here some more neckerchiefs and a merit badge sash. Take a look at the merit. Oh, this is cool. Check that out. Crescent Bay Area Council. So this was his council, and this looks to me to be sort of like what you would expect a Jamboree contingent neckerchief to look like. Doesn't say 1964, but it's got this beautiful neckerchief that's got this sort of homemade piping sewn in with that CP, what we would call a council patch that doesn't have a specific year or date on it. It's a nice, real pretty cut edge patch. That's real pretty. And then another 64 neckerchief. And then this one here, he was in Troop 106. So probably some of you guys would have figured that out eventually, but that was his troop number, was Troop 106. And then this was his merit badge sash. Now, I know some of you are going to say, wait a minute, how can he be an Eagle Scout if he doesn't have 21 merit badges? he is an Eagle Scout. For whatever reason, didn't get all the merit badges sewn on here, but you can see he's definitely from this 1960s time period where we have the twill background and the rolled edge border. That's how you can spot that. And a couple of the merit badges here, and then also down here at the bottom is firemanship, are from that earlier generation of merit badges, more from the 50s. But it might have been something that they had in the scout shop. I've mentioned that in several videos. Sometimes you have some old stock that gets mixed in. We have his little garrison cap here. That's what we call it. Then there's a couple of modern patches. Whoa, there's a tan patch. This didn't come out to the 1990s. I think that he had a son, or obviously someone else in the family who was doing scouting in the this would have been 1970s and 80s if you're going to have this style of patch. But then there are some, again, old ones here. Now that's not a Boy Scout patch necessarily. Sheriff's Rifle Auxiliary, Los Angeles County, but certainly you can understand why there might be some Boy Scouts kind of affiliated with that. Ah, here it is. This is the mystery. So this patch has the buttons on the back. So this would have been a sort of troop neckerchief that would go with that white one that we saw. And then I like that little Camp Wolverton there. That's pretty cool guy. Mentioned he's an Eagle Scout, and so show you this right here. We have his Eagle Scout medal and the patch that goes with it. And then something really cool. I don't know that my camera is going to do this justice, but one of the cool things that he showed me, he actually made a video of this. I'll try to hold it really close to the camera. I don't know if it's going to zoom in well enough for you to see it, but he has a really cool Eagle Scout ring. And so this was something he was really proud of, that, it's a size 9. He must have had a small finger back then. I think, maybe, I don't know if it's a size 10. I don't know what I am, but anyways. And like some of the other ones that I have done recently in unboxings, his Eagle medal has a flat back. It's a sterling silver Eagle medal. And the reason for that, again, was so they could engrave the name on the back, but almost no one ever did. So really nice in the original coffin case with the Eagle ring. And then this was something that right at the beginning of our conversation, we talked about his jacket. In fact, I think he was walking in his house and this was in a closet. This 1964 Jamboree jacket. And so these green poplin jackets. They also had red ones as well. And so that was a cool item. And then in here we also have his uniform shirt. So you see this classic look here, short sleeve shirt. He's got the Crescent Bay Area Council, Troop 73. This could have been his Jamboree troop, maybe. I'm not sure because it doesn't match up with the 106. And then we have his Jamboree patch, of course. So that nice looking, clean uniform. And the last thing in the box, I get my knife back out if I can find it underneath all this, is there is a little container. I always forget what the name of this material is. Bakelite or something. I could be totally getting that wrong. But a lot of scouts that I come across have these type of things. This is a little Cub Scout Promise wall hanger that they sold back in the catalog back in that day. And to me, I really like this one. This is like just a little jewelry box or something, a little treasure box. This one has the Cub Scouts, and it has that classic 1950s Explorer emblem. We call it a caw, compass, anchor, and wings. And he's got just a few little things in here. This Cub Scout neckerchief slide, a little patch from, let's see what this is. Manila. Okay, I don't know. This is from another country, guys. That's the kind of stuff you can trade for at a jamboree. So, and then a couple of coins. So that wraps it up. But again, I love getting collections from Eagle Scouts. I was an Eagle Scout myself when I was 16 back in the day. And it's interesting how someone who is from a totally different generation, you can have conversations with them. And we've all been to summer camps. A lot of us been inducted in the Order of the Arrow, been to a jamboree. So some of the things, there's just a lot of things in common. So Jason Spangler, the SanteeSwapper. If you have a collection like this, maybe one when you were a scout or one from a loved one, I would love to talk to you on the phone. You can go to my website, scoutpatchcollectors.com. You can send me an email, a text message, or just pick up the phone and call me. I'd be glad to take your call and see if I can help you out with that. Love to hear the story of your time in scouting. Thanks very much for watching.